Morning, Warriors. Warrior Man here. Getting ready to get my workday started here in my studio, and I knew I was going to reach up and hit the record button, but I was staring outside, seeing what kind of weather day. It's going to be awesome here today. We've had the heat spell like everybody else over the last month or more. But usually in the summertime out here, the temperature will drop at night 20 or 30 degrees, and it just started doing that a couple days ago, so it's like fall's in the air. A little bit too early for that. No leaves are turning or anything. But the weather's really important to me. I've commented on it a number of times. I grew up in Indiana. The skies were always gray. It affected my attitude. I didn't know that until I left there. After my first year of college, I went to high school and 1 year of college at Indiana State University, and then I went to Florida, and Atlanta, and Dallas, Texas. But for most of my WWF careers where I was, it was great for traveling, great geography. Texas is a great place to live. The weather was good for the most part, but Arizona is what really did it for me. It's important to have sun. I know so many people who live their whole lives in Indiana, including some of my family. They have depression problems or down in the dumps more often than than others are, or than they should be. And I say it's because you don't get any sun. It's important. I mean, I can tell on those days when I spend most of my time 4, 5, 6 hours in front of a computer monitor doing stuff that I feel like something's been sucked out of me. That's why I say it's important to get outside and get active and use your body hard, really just intensely, and sustain that as a habit. I mean, a lot of guys, I correspond with a lot of guys over the years about, they sort of just give it all up. They just let it go. Not just how they physically look, but they're being able to summons up the energy and the intensity, the aggressiveness to get out there and really use their body. And that's just not a good thing to do. Look, in doing these videos, I want to make it clear that we're not just talking about exercise here, how to get your exercise act together. It's a big part of it. It's been a big part of my life. Turned my life around years ago when I was in high school and stumbled into the weight room. A great story. But it's about how to get your life act together. And last Friday, I do this in bits and pieces, and I talk in general ideas, broad ideas, and you can break it down and you can get into details and specific and the practical things you can do to make your life work. And we're going to do that over time. There's only so much you can do in one video, and I go on for 5, 10, 15 minutes anyway. So, and I am intense and passionate about life. That one thing, I am intense and impassionate about life, having life, waking up every morning, having my eyes waken, and having another shot at this incredible experience of life. I just don't get it how people aren't intense and passionate about that. So many people are just dragging themselves through life. I don't want to be around people like that. I'm not inspired by people like that. That's not what you're going to get from me. There's a misunderstanding. Some of you think that I'm angry or I'm upset or I've got some issues I need to have resolved because I express myself in the way that I do, the explosive, chest out, in your face, bold, blunt, no bullshit way. No, I'm intense and passionate about life and getting the most I can out of it for the number of years that I have. And I've always been like that. I said before, and if you're just coming around new, just found out that I'm not dead with the, Twitter and the social media stuff and Facebook, then you're going to have to do some digging around to find out who I really am, what I'm all about. Those of you who've been coming around for years, you know that. But if you're coming here new and you only have a picture in your head of the 1990s version of Ultimate Warrior, and you're thinking as a kid what you thought that person, that human being would be like, then you're in the wrong place. And you're going to have to bring yourself up to speed, or you're going to have to sit back and you're going to have to take a breath, and you're going to let me do it for you in the videos and stuff I can do. So anyway, on Friday when I cut my video and I talked about a number of things, first of all, there were people that seemed to think I was saying to quit your job. I mean, I don't know how the fuck you could get that out of what I said. When I was talking about a job opportunity versus life opportunity, I wasn't telling anybody to quit their job. I just was trying to relate to you that I think your life is worth more than just a fucking job. I think that you came here to do something unique. You have something creative in you that's unique where you can make your life work on your own terms. Call your own shots, be your own boss, be your own operator. I believe that. I believe that about every human being. I just don't believe it about myself. I'm not sitting here saying to you, hey, I'm up on a pedestal, look how great I am, you can't do it, this isn't the lifetime for you, maybe next lifetime. So many other people do that. I don't believe that about anybody. I believe people make their choices and they end up in shitty places in their life, but I believe there is not one human being that was ever born absent the potential to do something great in their life. Yesterday was Monday. I made the comment last week in my video on Friday that if it's the end of the week and you took a huge breath, sigh of relief that the week was over and you were off for a couple days, you didn't have to go back to your job, then I said, you're not doing what you should be doing in your life. You're not working on your true life's purpose, what you really came here to do. And yesterday was Monday. If you woke up on Monday morning and you were in a crappy mood and you were grumpy and you were whining and complaining and bitching and moaning that you had to go back out in the workplace for another 5 days and work your 40, 50, 60 hours a week, work week to get your paycheck, to pay your bills, to buy you the things that really don't make you happy except for the short period of time while you're shopping for them, put gas in your car to take you places to be around people that you really don't want to be around, go places where you don't really want to go, then you're not doing what you should be doing, and you need to look at that. So about that, I just wanted to say a couple things, give you a couple thoughts and ideas. I made the suggestion on Friday that you get off by yourself, you take a notepad, a notebook, pencil and pen, and you start putting your visions, your dreams, your thoughts, your ideas, your mumblings, your grumblings, what you think is positive, what you think is negative, if you're a single guy and you want to one day have a family, you want to have a beautiful wife, you want to have a beautiful home, beautiful material things, start putting that stuff down on paper. Look, we all have moments of brilliance in our lives. Most people live two lives. They live this fantasy life in their head, this dreamy life where everything's perfect, everything's incredible, everything is just absolutely awesome. And then they live this life that they get up and face every day, this life of reality. And they bitch and moan and they whine and complain about that. But you can't just have a vague idea about that you want to be successful. I want to be successful and maybe be able to point to a celebrity or entertainer or an athlete, a professional athlete or some other public figure and say, I'd like to be successful like that. You can't just say, I want to be rich without having some idea of what rich is for you, what rich would be for you. You can't just say, I want to have really nice, expensive material possessions. Okay, what? You got to be able to answer that. And so instead of having all this parts unknown, outer space battle going on in your head where your ideas just float around and there's never no record of them, and you don't put them down someplace so you can go and look at them, you can be reminded about what you're thinking, where you want to go, what your goals are in life, get them down on paper. That's what I mean. And I don't mean spend 5 minutes. At the very least, you should spend 3 hours. 3 hours at the least, at a minimum. You should sit in silence without any distractions whatsoever. Fight the distractions. And that will be hard for people to do today because people constantly want to be engaged by something. They can't stand to have silence. They can't stand to have only their own thoughts to themselves and nobody else around to busy up their minds. Sit for 3 hours and put it all down, everything about what you want to do. It's important to do that because you need to give some definition to what your goals are, some specificity and detail to what you actually want out of your life, what you actually want to be doing with your life to make you happy so that you wake up every day and you're excited and enthusiastic about, yes, this is killer. That's the way, this is the way that you should wake up and want to engage life. Show me, somebody show me, prove it to me. It's like the proof I've been looking for years that somebody would provide to me that I have self-destructed. Somebody provide me the proof where your life is supposed to be nothing but just drudgery. Where you came here and there's no way out of some obligation that you needed to sign on for what was mundane, routine, boring, and just generic. Where is it? Provide it to me. And I will post it on Facebook. Every day, at the beginning of the day, I'll put it on Facebook, I put it on Twitter. I say I was wrong, and I will apologize. Another reason, look, putting stuff down on paper like that, it's a strategy, it's a technique, it's a thing that successful people do. Pick up some books and start reading about the success of other people. You're going to have to start building your own library. And pretty soon, and I did this before already through my blog, I had book list suggestions. Those are going to be coming back. We'll discuss books over time once we get up and running full-blown Ultimate Warrior speed around here. But it's a thing that they do. They put things down on paper. I carry a recorder with me. I carry a notebook with me. If I come up with an idea and think, yeah, man, that would be awesome, I need to do that, I need to get a record of it, because by the time I get back to where paper and pencil are, I'm going to forget about it. I mean, it's not even going to be a distant memory anymore. And when you get all this stuff down on paper, then you can start organizing it. Instead of just having all these ideas and thoughts and dreams and fantasies and visions and everything bouncing around the walls of your skull. You can have them on paper and you can start moving the pieces of the puzzle around. Because success at big goals in life don't just fall from the sky. You got to take steps, you got to plan, you got to be progressive about what you're doing. To use a weightlifting or an exercise or health and fitness analogy, when you go to the gym, you can bench press a certain amount of weight. You can military press a certain amount of weight. You can squat a certain amount of weight. You can curl a certain amount of weight if you're just starting out. And how do you succeed at your health and fitness goals? How do you succeed at getting in shape, putting on muscle, getting bigger, these type of things? You do it progressively. You make a plan so that over a period of time, you increase the number of reps you do in a set. You increase the number of sets you do. You increase the weight on the exercises that you're doing, on the sets that you do. You decrease the amount of rest time between the exercises to increase the intensity. You increase the intensity. All these different things that you use to progress. People today, and I talk to people like young people like this all the time, they think that success, the pot of gold, just falls from the freaking sky. If they just sing to themselves, or if they sit on the floor and they twist themselves up in the shape of a pretzel and they hum, that success at life is just going to happen. Dreams don't do themselves. You're going to have to do the work. Another important thing, another important reason why to put your stuff on paper. When you take it out of the secrecy of your mind, you breathe life into it in front of the whole world. And that sets off a manifestation of an energy, a karmic energy, where you draw to you opportunities, where windows and doors open up for you, where you draw to you interaction and resources of people and things that can be help, assist, or guide you, or give you leads, how to achieve your bigger goals. I can't tell you how many times, and I don't mean this in the Ultimate Warrior parts unknown way, the mysterious, cryptic way that Ultimate Warrior used to do interviews. I mean it in a real life, concrete way. I can't tell you how many times I've planted a seed in my subconscious about something or someone I have to take the next step in a goal I want to achieve. And time goes by, and I'll be goddamn if it doesn't just step right in front of my face what I need to have, the person or the thing. Most people attribute it to just some silly coincidence. It's not silly coincidence. It's because of the way you think and how deeply you believe. That's the important reason to do this, getting the ideas and your dreams down on paper. The one last thing I want to tell you about it is that you need to be realistic. You need to be reasonable about what you do. If you're making $300 a week, don't sit down on a piece of paper and the first thing you write is, in 6 months, I want $10 million in the bank free and clear. That's silly. That's stupid. Look at your life, be realistic, be objective about what your goals are and what your circumstances in life are right now, and go from there. If you want, let's say that you have a job that would allow you to save $100,000 in 5 years free and clear in the bank. If you cut back on your expenses now, you trimmed your overhead, you gave up some of the stuff that you waste your money on, and you started disciplining yourself and saving some of your money every week. put $100,000 down on paper. It doesn't mean that you're locked into $100,000. It doesn't mean that when you get to $100,000, your goals can't become bigger. But you do it progressively. This is how you do it. Some of you wrote me and you asked me, well, what does it mean to go off by myself and sit and be alone and write my things down? This is what it means. Success in life just doesn't happen. You've got to do the work. You've got to make it matter, because it does matter. Every day. Never does it not matter. Does matter. Have a great day.